Hello, 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 and good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in this world. I want to show you today, like the third guide of our series. This one will be a little bit shorter, since we would only touch one topic that is specifically only necessary to work in Paragon itself. We don't need the scripting part yet, but it's like a step we can do and use for future guides, because we will create today a custom character. Um, Not completely fully, we will just reuse a different portrait file for now, but I want to show you like some aspects you have to watch out if you want to create a new character. And yeah, I think we can just get started. I also upped a bit the video quality, made some changes in OBS and also like on my screen specifically, since because of the size of the screen it was like too small, and OBS had some issues with scaling it correctly. I hope it's a lot more better to read now. So let's open up our project in Paragon. So over here, I open up down here. And we will need to open up the character tab. That opens up this one. It's all a lot bigger, everything right now, but it's fine. Since I had like a zoom function that helps a lot with a visualization for the video. So we have like all kinds of characters here. We have like the playables of a game. But what we also find in this tab are the common enemies, like the Dane soldiers, the Crimean soldiers, rebels, the order units. We even find like the spirits down here and Ashera. We also find the bosses over here. They all have like their unique IDs, and you can also see they have like a specific skill that says SID boss. So let us make like a new character. We just press up here in the top one, like add. What you can always do is like you can always like check a different character to see how things are looking like, and from their like configurations. There's like things that have to be done, and sometimes you forget things. Like we call this one PID Paterino in this sense. I like to do it all uppercase for all of these naming parts, because these names are basically creating data in your file system that specifically tells what, or like what the unit corresponds to. The PID is basically, it says this is a new unique one and has to be also completely unique. If you try to make a second character right now and give it PID Paterino as well, it will tell you you cannot do a save, or you cannot close the tab, because it doesn't like to do like to have multiple same PIDs. In some versions, it's also the case that it allows you to do that, and it then always uses the secondary PID that has been mentioned. So if you have like two Paterinos with the same PID Paterino, it will then use the second one. It can Anything like that can happen. It depends on the version sometimes. In the past it was this, and then today it's that. It might change. But if now another click we see on the left side, it now names the character tab like PID Paterino. Now we write down MPID Paterino as a unique name, and it already knows, because it's one of my second attempts, that I called MPID Paterino Paterino. So every time you call out the MPID Paterino, or like for other characters you have designated, it will remember that you have named basically this tag Paterino, or like whatever you have put in it. So MNPID is not really that important, and genders can also doesn't have that much effect. The next one is the FID. That's basically the portrait file. If we check in Paragon the specific tab portraits, let me open up in a different. No, it really doesn't like it. As you can see, it says it's whiting out because I have opened it in a different tab. Let me open up a different Paragon right now. And open up Portrait Spare. So, this is now from a different instance of Paragon, but it's fine. We find like different portraits here, like all the NPCs. You see like the cutouts for the eyes and mouth animations. Let's say we look at code right now. We can go all through. The portrait file gives us all the informations. There's like 16 entries in it. One being like the cutouts and also the like smaller portrait, the mini portrait and everything like that. What is important for us to reuse a portrait is to take the FID. Let's say we take the FID for code. You can just copy that and place it in here. So we go up and down. Now we see the character Padrino has the portrait from code in this case. The next thing we can decide, this is basically just for organization, is to say, hey, we want to assign a class. I like always to be like a little bishop. And the next one would be an affinity. The affinities are really simple. The affinities, you know, like fire, water, thunder, have an affinity. They are exactly written like that. The only difference is the earth affinity. The earth affinity is actually called Telios. It's not with a double L, like how Telios is written. It's just one L, and it's written lowercase. Make sure to write your wished affinity down here, since this one will definitely affect if a unit is getting onto the map. The next one is the weapon ranks. The weapon ranks are ordered like in all like 12 of them. Actually 12. I was just calculating. There was like the extra weapons with knives, strikes, etc. So, and they are basically written. You have an E rank, you have a D rank. You just write it down like that. But we have an SS rank. How does the game recognize an SS rank? You will use the star symbol for that. And how does the game know what weapon rank is what? It has a specific order for that. I'm kind of confused about the element, like the anima magic, and what order it is. So I might be wrong right now, but let's go with the first one. We have a sword rank. Bishop doesn't have a sword rank, so we just write the minus in, and we continue this minus for every weapon rank that the bishop doesn't have. The next one is lance. Then we have axes. Then we have bows. Then we have knives. Then we have strikes. So we have all physical weapons done. The next one would be wind, fire, thunder. Those are the three anima magics. And then we will have light. We can give like an A rank as an example. Then it's dark rank, something the bishop doesn't know. And staves at last. It differentiates it with itself to its previous title. It's as most of you know who have played Radiant Dawn, light magic and staves are separated in this game, at least. And then we have a starting level. We can say this character starts on level 10. And now can go to the next step, that is basically skills. We can just give like all kinds of skills. We can say he has a boss symbol on him. As soon as a character has the boss skill on them, they also give more experience. We can give this character let's give this character Nihil, SID crit up 25, and maybe you can always take a look into the list of skills. Let's see, what can we also take? Sure, just because, yeah, he's savage. You can always find the skill IDs up here in SID, in the SID section for the skill. You can just copy it, write it down here, click somewhere on Paragon, and then it's fine. Next, we would have the base stats. Here you designate like basically the base stats for the character that he gains on top of his class stats. So you have to check out like what is the bishop class stats and what kind of like base stats you want to distribute to your character. We can just say 5, 10, 10, 10, 2, maybe. It's totally fine. You can just write anything in. It's for your balance purpose, but we can just throw in some random numbers at the moment. It's not a big deal. The only thing right here is a class doesn't determine the luck stat for your unit. Luck stat always is coming from the character tab as the only source for basically luck. So if I write down 25 in here, it will definitely be 25. Even if you write down that the class has some extra luck, it will ignore that. It will always take the character luck in this case. So can give it like 3 defense and 15 res maybe. Also, maybe I ate a bit too much. Give it to con as well. Next is the growth rates. Something really interesting about that. You can write a maximum of 127 growths. Since if you go like higher than 127, it would make your growth negative. And for that, you have to open up basically Paragon to adjust like some values in Paragon to allow you to adjust these values. But most of us want positive growths, and it goes only to 127. You see also that this like little arrow here is grayed out compared to this right one. It doesn't go higher. So 127 is the maximum. 0 is the minimum on a normal version. So we can just write things down. And rest is 0. With flags, I never had found a purpose for flags. I don't really know what it does. I have tried out some bits, but never found really anything going on. Biorhythm, there's like a biorhythm tab in Paragon. You can check out what number is what biorhythm, and you can like designate one. Or maybe like I really want this unit to have Ike's biorhythm. Oh, here's the number 7. Okay, I just take the value, go over here, and give it to him. The next one is the authority stars. The authority stars only matter if this unit is a commanding unit of your army right now. So my Vanilla Radiant Dawn, it's mostly Micaiah, Ike, Elincia, or Joffrey. Later on, Tiban as well. For the enemies, bosses, it would be like there needs to be, if you look at the map disposition for your characters, the character who's on the highest, like the lowest order number of the hex data and has a specific tag to them will be the main commander. If a main commander dies and there's a secondary commander listed, the new authority stars or like the authority stars of a secondary commander will then be active from that point on. So you could make like a boss later on with 20 authority stars. He dies, oh my god, and then there's like a secondary commander that has like 5 authority stars or something like that. So let's give him like 2, or I can just give him a 10 as an example, because it doesn't look that well. There's like a maximum of authority stars you should give, otherwise it looks visually really off. Unknown 1, cannot really tell that much about it. The next tab is, I go directly below it, is the Laguz transformation stats. It tells how the Laguz gauges should be handled, specifically for a unit. There's no specific rule that says Wolf Laguz have to be like this and Tiger Laguz have to be like this. They have done it for the different characters in this game. That they have said, okay, they have all this like kind of the same transformation gauge depending on the class, but you can mix it up. You can like make changes to that. Maybe you want to have like a really strong Laguz from the start that is not a royal Laguz, but he's having like his transformation gauge works less effective. It's maybe like a low level Laguz you want to implement for story reasons that has like a really well behaving Laguz gauge that keeps him longer in the form. You can play with the values basically tells you untransformed per turn gauge gain. It's basically if the unit untransformed and the turn starts, how much gauge should the Lagoose character get. If you write down 30, he will be immediately able to transform on the chapter again. And there's like also untransformed per battle gauge that only works basically when you're getting attacked from 2 range. If you get from 2 range, you are not able to attack back. Then you get a lot of gauge. Most characters actually get to like 15 or something. You have to watch out. Like, not everyone. Like, I think tigers are a bit slower in that regard. But also down there are the reduction. When a Lagoose character is fighting, or in this gauge. In this gauge, I say, on turn beginning. You basically use the same ruling for that, how much gets reduced. And the last part is the AID stuff, like how should your character look on the map, and also like his animations. You have to put an AID in. This is a completely an own topic on its own. For now, we want to visualize Paderino as a bishop, so we have like some bishop options. Most magic units can basically use any other magic units animation. You just have to watch out. As a bishop, you also have a staff animation, so you cannot just say I want the Tormod Sage animation, since he doesn't have a staff animation for battling or when he's on the field. So it looks a bit off in this case. Just writing Saint in. But I could take Sephiron as an example, but I personally like Riz a lot. As you can see, he has no AID 1, since he will never show up as a tier 1 unit in Vanilla Radiant Dawn. But he shows up as a bishop. So, like, he has no cleric form, but he has a bishop form and his saint form. And that is basically what you designate for. So, what kind of animation shall have what kind of palette when he's in what tier of class. You can just copy it over for now. Write down Paderino. Take the values and write down priest free. Just to name it right now, the AID basically says, hey, it's an AID for a priest character for tier 2. And it's for K for Kilroy, because Kilroy is the internal name of Riz. And that's something that has been named by the developers. So if we ever get to the point of doing custom animations with AIDs, like not fully custom, it's something we don't have yet, but maybe in the future. If you see a guide in the future, then we have it. So thumbs up to that. But right now, if you do like some custom ones, you have to put them in here so it's positioned on the character. But this basically is the character creation, like with some extra details and some extra infos about it. I hope this was helpful for you to get like your first characters going. Definitely be reminded you can make any kind of character in here. You can make a playable character, you can make an enemy character, you can make yellow units and correspond to that. What the Vanilla Radiant Dawn really likes to do is like to make for, like we see Bagnion right now here, make for every single class one Bagnion soldier. And give him like some base stats. It's usually always luck. But there's also like enemies, you see like the growth rates here, but they have like some strengths. But you also here rebels. You see that they lowered their stats a bit, so they aren't that strong. And a liability. So this is like my end world right now. I wish you all a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, or wherever or what time it is at your time zone. And I hope this video helped you. And see you for the next one. Bye bye.